On offense, led by Cade Klubnik. As Greg said, when he arrived at Clemson, he was 178 pounds, up to a solid 210. Junior from Austin, Texas, out of the great Westlake High School program. And the numbers reflect the season he had. Some good, some bad. And a guy who can hurt you both with his arm and his feet.
He's got great ability, just has to stay within the offense and make better decisions from the get-go.
They open with Maffa, the running back, in the pistol, and 4 receivers. They think they'll be better in the receiving corps with some players returning to health who were injured last year. Short pass and an inaccurate one. And an ominous start for Klubnik is obviously Garrett Riley, the coordinator, trying to give him an easy play to get him started, and he didn't throw a very good pass.
Yeah, they're just cranking the engine there and getting them on the move, changing the launch point, something they did very little of last year. Garrett Riley is a guy who operates from that air raid system popularized by Mike Leach, but has really grown into becoming more balanced offensively.
They fake to Maffa. There's a flag down. Jake Brenningstool at 50 catches last year. Powered his way to the 32, a pickup of 7 if it stands. Dan Jackson made the tackle in his 6th year in the Georgia program. Mike Roach is the referee. It's an ACC officiating crew.
Illegal motion, offense number 8 moving forward at the snap. The 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Well, Dabo Sweeney said eliminate the self-inflicted mistakes from a year ago. They missed a gimme pass and now a penalty on their 2nd snap.
Just brutal start so far for Clemson's offense. Script those first 10-15 plays, things you feel great about, most confident in, and Georgia's an elite team rushing the passer, so when you get behind the sticks and playoff schedule, you're playing into their strength.
They stick with Maffa as the running back. That's Tyler Brown, the motion man. And Brenningstool dropped the pass. Incomplete pass to the normally sure-handed Brenningstool. They finished last year with a wild win in the Gator Bowl against Kentucky, and Brenningstool was immense. He had 9 catches. Third down and 15. They're showing blitz. Looked like Williams was offside. There is a flag down. Klubnik gets blasted at the end of the run after some nifty footwork to get to the 25. He got hit hard by Damon Wilson. It looked like Georgia was offside.
Offside. Defense number 13. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Michael Williams, one of the many talented players on the dog D.
And it looks like Clemson went with a bit of a hard count. In an environment like this, you can use your snap count to your advantage. He takes a big shot at the end by Damon Wilson. Gets ahead on the football, but last year, Klubnik, now a much stronger player. That one might have been on the deck in a fumble, but not today.
Kirby Smart starting his
he got his hands back on it at the
29th season as head coach at Georgia. On 3rd and 10. The check down to Maffa, and a good tackle in the open field by K.J. Bolden. A true freshman thrust into action because they're starting the game without Jonel Aguero, ordinarily their star or nickel, but he pulled a muscle earlier in the week. So Bolden starting the game. And we'll see
32 on the receiving team has changed his number to 27. 32 to 27.
We'll see a lot of Malachi Starks, ordinarily their free safety, at the star position. Here's Aiden Swanson in his 6th year in the Clemson program. 24-year-old from Tampa. Goes up, spiral line drive punt. Returned by Anthony Evans. Out to the 32-yard line. Here's Molly McGrath on the sideline.
Well, Sean, after Georgia's loss in the SEC championship game, quarterback Carson Beck decided on this very field that he would return for a 5th and final season. He told us he was so devastated by that loss, he didn't speak to anyone for 3 days straight, and then he sat down and wrote out his goals for the season. Number 1 being win the national championship. Number 2, he admitted, win the Heisman. Number 3, be a first-round draft pick. He wrote this, posted it next to his front door, saying, every time I walk out into the world, I want to know what I'm chasing. And that chase starts here today, guys.
All of those goals very achievable for the 5th-year senior from Jacksonville. 6'4", 220-pounder. Off a magnificent first year as the starter last year. Flips it ahead to Arian Smith, the fastest man on their team. You asked Mike Bobo, the coordinator, last night, who do you want to get going early? And he said Arian Smith.
He's had a great offseason, kind of in and out of the doghouse last year with some inconsistency with his hands. Here, he's so athletic and dynamic with the ball in his hands, and he's always a threat to take off and get behind the defense. So getting him off to a good start, getting him feeling confident is a big priority for Bobo.
Officially a pass and a 12-yard gain. Dominic Lovett, the motion man. And a nice tackle by DeMonte Capehart in the middle of that defensive front as he took down Branson Robinson, who starts at running back. They're replacing their top 2 rushers from a year ago. Dejon Edwards and Kendall Milton, both of whom went to NFL training camps. They're without Trevor Etienne, the transfer from Florida, who's likely to be their featured back. He is not playing today, suspended for a violation of university policy. He is dressed. Beck sends it out wide. Arian Smith again, and another good tackle. This one by Jaden Lucas, the cornerback.
Great tackle there by Jaden Lucas. Missed a little time in fall camp, and this is something we didn't see often from Georgia last year, is getting behind the sticks. They were one of the best teams in the country on 1st and 2nd down to avoid 3rd and longs, but here they are, first 3rd down of the season.
Wes Goodwin, the defensive coordinator for Clemson. Georgia was best in the country on 3rd down last year at 55%, in large part because, as Greg said, they were so good on 1st and 2nd down. They didn't face many 3rd and 10s. Beck given time, now running out of it behind a veteran offensive line. He takes off running, has the first down, and stumbles down at the Clemson 43-yard line.
This is an aspect of Carson Beck's game that's very underrated. If you get too aggressive in your pass rush, he can hurt you with his legs. Doesn't like anything downfield. He has one-on-one against Wade Woodaz in the middle. He makes a miss and picks up the needed yardage.
13-yard gain. No score, 4.5 minutes in. Out wide it comes to Dylan Bell. And that's a short gain. Wade Woodaz the tackle, to pick up 2. Not only is Georgia replacing their top 2 runners, but they lost 3 of their top 4 receivers from a year ago, including the 2-time Mackey Award winning tight end Brock Bowers, who's now in the NFL as a first-round pick by the Raiders. So a lot to figure out on the offense, the skill positions around Beck. 2nd and 8. Branson Robinson driven back. No gain on the play. Not only did they lose Bowers, but Ladd McConkey was a second-round pick of the Los Angeles Chargers. Rosemy Jackson, a wide receiver, went to Washington's training camp. Ra Thomas dismissed from the program. And we mentioned the top two runners. A lot of talent, but at Georgia, they typically have the best or one of the best recruiting classes in the country. Plenty of talent ready to step in. It's Cash Jones in at running back now. Back to the sideline, incomplete. And very well covered. Intended for Dillon Bell. It's Avion Terrell, whose brother AJ was a standout at Clemson, a first-round pick of the Falcons. And he's here today. He was on the field for the coin toss, in fact, as the Clemson honorary captain. Kevin Butler, the legendary kicker for Georgia,
Number 7
was
of
the
kicking
captain.
team is changing his number to 14, 7 to 14.
For the Bulldogs, 40 years after he kicked the last-second field goal to beat Clemson from 60 yards away. Brett Thorson is the punter. And a beauty. It'll be downed inside the 5 by Arian Smith. Each team has had it once. No score. You're watching ESPN College Football on ABC, presented by Tums Gummy by 5 wins in a row. Flag thrown on first down from the Clemson 5. Phil Maffa, the ball carrier. And Dabo Swinney said he was really proud of that. 9 wins is a disappointment at Clemson. But he said back then, when you're 4-4, you can show what you're made of. And he thought they did by winning those last 5 games.
Holding. Offense, number 53. That penalty's declined. Defense will take the result of the play. Second down.
Ryan Linthicum is the center for the veteran offensive line.
He has some big shoes to fill. Their center from last year, Putnam, was one of the better centers in the ACC. And Linthicum's been around the program for quite a while. A guy that has great understanding of this offense, a good leader within that room, but somewhat inexperienced compared to some of the rest of his cohorts on the O-line.
Kirby Smart elected to take the play in a 2-yard gain. 2nd and 8. Maffa outside. Powerful running. And he might have the first down. Dragged down by Raylan Wilson.
We did not often see Phil Maffa running outside the tackles last year. Really makes his hay keeping his shoulders square, even with the line of scrimmage. He's a one-cut running back, but he's so tough to bring down once he gets a full head of steam. And that time they get him on the edge and he finds some momentum.
Well, they won their last 5, as we just chronicled. Over the last 6 games, he averaged more than 20 touches per game. They just went to the ground game and did a lot of this on 3rd and inches. A first down for Maffa, grad student from Loganville, Georgia. And there are the numbers. First 7 games, he averaged just 8 yards per carry, splitting time with Will Shipley, who's now in the NFL as a 4th-round draft pick of Philadelphia. Shipley hurt. Maffa got a lot more of the ball carrying and took advantage of it, including 36 carries, a school record, for 186 yards in that win against Notre Dame that started the winning streak. Here he comes again to the outside. And he's stopped after a short gain by C.J. Allen, the sophomore linebacker.
That's twice now that Maffa's been pitched to the outside, getting outside the tackles. This has been a bit of a vulnerability for Georgia's defense last season. They're still good against the run, but at one point between 19 and 22, those seasons, they averaged giving up just 76 rushing yards a game. Last year was 113 rushing yards a game. So they've not been as good on the edges of the defense last season, trying to improve it this year.
After a gain of 3, 2nd and 7. Cade Klubnik will throw it away. Looking everywhere, but couldn't find anybody open. And I think they'd actually like to see more of that, rather than force it in someplace and commit a turnover, take a sack. Adam Randall being chastised by Coach Swinney. Warren Brinson is the injured Georgia Bulldog, starting defensive lineman for Kirby Smart. Crew delighted to be back together for the start of another college football season. A great way to get it going in the Aflac kickoff game. Clemson and Georgia memorably opened the season head-to-head in 2021 in a rock fight in Charlotte. A 10-3 Georgia win on their way to a national championship. 3rd down and 7. Warren Brinson has come off the field. Diving catch made, and a good one, but short of the 1st down. Antonio Williams with Dalen Everett draped all over him. It's 4th down. The offense is on the field, and now it's not. Dabo Swinney hesitated for a moment, but is not going to go for a 4th and 1. 9 minutes in from his own 26-yard line.
And a good decision. Not a team that really went for it a lot last year. Just 24% of their 4th down decisions did they go. That was about 64th.